Willow is the newest mythic brawler coming to the game in early April. She's some kind of a swamp shaman monster, and she's part of a completely new trio, so honestly, I'm excited to see what kind of other two swamp-themed brawlers we'll get. She's the guardian of a place called the Swamp or Tunnel of Love, which is located near Mortis's mortuary, so there might be some sort of a relationship between those two. Willow deceives brawlers by tempting them with the things that they love most, and then takes complete control of their minds.
Hearing people's fears is music to my ears. Hope I gave you the creeps. I smell suffering, and I like it.
I'll show you all of her voice lines near the end of this video. Willow's main attack is Lantern's Curse. She throws her lantern on the ground, which breaks and creates a puddle of poisonous slime on the ground. If it lands on an enemy, or if the enemy walks through the puddle, they will be poisoned and receive 3 ticks of poison damage guaranteed. The one exception being Poco's useless Gadget. Willow's a thrower, so she can throw her lanterns over walls, and unlike Sprout or Grom, she can also throw her lanterns on top of water. One thing you'll notice is that enemies that are hit by the attack are instantly poisoned, but they do not take instant damage. The damage starts an entire second after getting hit by the attack, and then once every second after that. So she's actually really good at dealing damage, but not very good at bursting other players down, similar to like Byron or Squeak. Willow's super is Hex. This super has to be one of the most unique abilities in the game. She shoots a tadpole, and if she hits a brawler with it, she gains total control of that brawler. Well, maybe I shouldn't say total control, because she can't use their super or their gadget while controlling them, but she can fire their main attack and deal damage to their own enemies, and she can use the attacks to attack their own teammates. Plus, she can also move them around wherever she wants to like put them into a really dangerous situation, like close to your teammates or into the showdown smoke. Enemies will stay under mind control unless one of 3 things happen. First is if their health goes below 30%. Second is if Willow is defeated. And third is if neither of those things happen for 4 seconds, at which point the enemy brawler will be able to take control of their brawler. When she hits an enemy with a super, they get completely healed, but any ammo that Willow makes them waste does not come back after they escape mind control. So this actually makes her really great at wasting ammo and moving enemies into bad positions. If Willow hits an enemy target that is not capable of being controlled, like Nita's bear or Pam's turret, it just deals 1,500 damage instead. Willow's first gadget is Spellbound. When Willow activates this gadget, her next main attack not only will immediately deal damage to whatever it hits, but it will deal all of its damage in one hit. So instead of taking 3 different ticks of damage over 4 seconds, you take 3 ticks of damage instantly. She also creates a puddle right where she's standing when she activates this gadget that will also deal a little bit of damage to anything that it touches. And this is a great way for her to counter anybody who gets a little bit too close to her. Willow's second gadget is Dive. Willow dives underwater when this gadget is activated and basically doesn't exist for a couple of seconds. While she's underwater, she can't move or use any attacks or do anything else, and the most similar ability in the game right now is Lou's Ice Block gadget, except not only will she not take damage from attacks, but she can't even be targeted by them. However, this does not heal her status effect, so if she's on fire or poisoned, she will still take damage while underwater. Honestly, this is a great way to avoid really big damage from a distance, like Dynamite's super or a charged B shot. Willow's first star power is Love is Blind. This star power makes it so that any brawler that has been poisoned by Willow's main attack will also have their reload speed reduced by 25% while poisoned. So that's 4 seconds of 25% slower reload speed. This ability does take immediate effect, so even if the brawler hasn't been damaged yet, their reload speed will be slowed the whole time. And this, honestly, this is a great star power. Willow's second star power is Obsession. This star power makes it so that any brawler that is under her mind control will have their movement speed increased by 75% while under her control. Unfortunately, I can't show you what this looks like for right now, but to give you an idea of how fast that is, Rico's Robo Retreat only gives a 34% speed boost, so a 75% speed boost is crazy fast. And even though Willow's super only lasts for 4 seconds, you'll be able to cover some major distance with this star power, which will put your target into a terrible position. Now that we know how her abilities work, let's see how she compares to every other brawler in the game from the Brawl Stars Olympics. Then we'll talk about how strong I think she's gonna be. We'll start with her worst and end with the best. First up, we have the supercharge tests. Willow requires 15 ticks of damage, and 3 ticks from each ammo equals 5 ammo. Her reload speed and damage over time makes supercharging very, very slow. She requires 8.6 seconds for her to charge her super, which puts her in dead last for supercharge test. This suggests that even though her super is crazy strong, she's not going to have it up very frequently. Next is the boss test, and as we saw, it takes Willow a while to charge her super, and it doesn't even really do that much damage. Her damage over time actually doesn't really make that much difference in this test though, but her damage and reload are below average. She defeats the boss in 1 minute and 48 seconds, which puts her in 59th place out of 66 brawlers. Next is the assassin test. Now Willow only has time for a few ticks of damage, but she uses her gadget to instantly deal a lot of damage with one of her ammo. Her super also adds a little extra damage, and she deals 6,155 damage in 3 seconds, which puts her in 58th place. Next is the reload test, and Willow actually has a decent unload speed, meaning that she can unload her shots fairly quickly, but her reload speed is really slow. She reloads 10 shots in 23 seconds and ties with M's for 57th place. Next is the area test, and her main attack only deals poison damage, so it can't actually break skulls, which is kind of interesting. That makes her the only brawler in the game that cannot break skulls with her main attack. Her super breaks 16 skulls, and her gadget can break 17, so she does get a score of 33 total skulls and gets 56th place. Next we have the survival test. At 3,750 HP, she does not have a whole lot of health, but she does have her dive gadget, which buys her a couple extra seconds. Normally I don't allow brawlers to actually avoid damage like this. However, this is pretty much kind of just like a shield in a weird way, right? She still isn't able to use all of her gadgets in time though, and she survives for 12.8 seconds and gets 51st place. Next is the super range test, and Willow's super reaches 7 1/3 tiles across, so she actually ties with Frank, Daryl, and Shelly for 49th place with her super. It does not have a whole lot of range. However, that might be a good thing because it's so strong. Next is the swarm test. Willow uses her gadget to instantly take out some of the bots, while her other attacks are dealing damage over a few seconds, and she uses her super to take out a single bot, and then her gadget recharges so she can quickly take out the last few. She defeats the swarm in 7 seconds and gets 43rd place. This does suggest that she'll at least be somewhat decent at covering a large area. Next we have the race test, and Willow has a normal movement speed with no abilities to help her in this test, so she completes the race test in 12.3 seconds and ties with 25 other brawlers for 40th place. Next is the 3 attack kill test. Her gadgets deal very little damage when activating, and it actually deals more damage than her regular attack when it hits. It takes a few seconds, but she's able to deal 5,900 damage with 3 attacks, which is enough to take out 47 brawlers in the game, so she gets 40th place. For the 1 second DPS test, Willow uses her attack and waits until they are all dealing damage at the same time. Then she uses her gadget and her super to deal a fair amount of damage to the boss while it is poisoned, so that as much damage as possible happens within 1 second. She's able to reach a maximum of 5,555 damage in 1 second, which puts her in 36th place. Next is the super damage test. Now Willow's super does not deal damage to brawlers. In fact, it actually fully heals them instead. But to any target that cannot be controlled, it will deal 1,500 damage, so I decided to make that the score for this test. This actually ties her with Surge's super for 35th place. Up until this point, Willow has done worse than half of the brawlers in the game for the Olympics, and the tests from this point on are where she's better than half of the brawlers in the game. Next is the auto aim test. Now Willow's projectile takes longer to hit the ground the further she throws it, kind of like Barley's, but it has a good size radius, so she can actually auto aim pretty well. She's able to hit Nita from 4 tiles away and deals 1,800 damage to her, so Willow gets 29th place. Next we have the attack range test. Her main attack reaches 7 tiles and has a 2-tile radius for a total range of 9 tiles. This is 2/3 tiles longer than Dynamite's range, 1/3 tile longer than Barley's range, but it is shorter than Sprout's and Grom's ranges thanks to their abilities. She ties with Surge, Colette, Bo, and a few others for 29th place, and she actually has a pretty decent range. Next is the box test, and Willow takes a while to break open boxes just because her attacks take a few seconds to deal all of its damage. However, she easily hits multiple boxes at once, so she racks up power cubes quickly. She completes the box test in 42.2 seconds, which puts her in 26th place, and that suggests she's going to do a pretty good job at ramping up in Showdown. And next we have the splash test. Now it did take some very precise aim, but Willow can hit every box with her main attack if she lands it right in the middle of them. She uses her gadget to save a couple of seconds, but it still takes 4 ammo to destroy all of them at the same time, and Willow completes the splash test in 5.4 seconds, which puts her in 11th place. Now those are all the standard tests, however Willow does get first in one very special test, the mind control test. Congratulations, Willow. For real though, Willow didn't actually do very well in many of these tests because none of them actually take into consideration the fact that her super can actually control enemy brawlers. So let's talk about how strong I think she's going to be, and then I'll show you all of her voice lines and pins. Willow's super is going to be so strong in gem grab. Okay, I think she's going to be S tier for the game mode. If she can hit a brawler that has a lot of gems, I think it's instantly going to change the game around because she can just waste all the brawler's ammo, move them toward her teammates so that they can then easily be killed. Depending on the map, her being a thrower can offer tons of map control, especially because her attack covers a large area and does so for a few seconds. Then you have her dive gadget, which might actually come in handy if she's holding a lot of gems and she needs to dodge such a strong attack. For Brawl Ball, I'm going to put her in B tier. It probably won't be her best game mode because it's good to have lots of quick burst damage to prevent brawlers from walking the ball into her goal, and she doesn't have any great abilities to try and score a goal. Her super is still going to be very useful, but I don't think it's going to give you the same advantages it would in other game modes, because when she's controlling an enemy brawler, that enemy brawler still can't score a goal. So it's not like she can control somebody and then have them self-score. On the flip side, if she can actually control a brawler on the enemy team and have them score on herself if she wants to be a really mean teammate. I don't think too many people will really do that in competitive matches, but you know, they've done it before. Heist is another game mode I don't see her being very strong in, so I'm gonna go with C tier. It's nice to have an attack that can deal damage to enemies and the safe at the same time while being protected by the walls. I just don't think she's gonna be able to deal enough damage to the safe in order to be a good brawler for it. Her super deals very little damage to the safe, and it's probably best used to try and control brawlers attacking your own safe to try and run them away or something like that. I don't know, she's not gonna be very good in Heist. As for Bounty though, I think she's gonna be pretty good. I'm gonna go with A tier. Her super doesn't quite have the range for her to be an S tier Bounty brawler, and her attack does take a while to travel and actually land, but if she is able to land a super in a high bounty brawler, it's gonna be really easy for her team to try and kill them, and sometimes that's all that you need to win a match. She could charge up her super the entire time and then just use it on one brawler and win, right? Her dive gadget's also going to be a great ability for her to have if she has a lot of stars and she needs to be able to dodge a quick attack from Dynamite super or, you know, Piper or B shots or something like that. As for Hot Zone, I'm gonna go with the A tier. Her super might not be as strong in the Hot Zone because enemies will still score points even if they are in the zone while they're being controlled, but her attack is going to be very good for keeping enemies outside of the zone because of how much area it covers and how much damage it does over time. The fact that she has low burst damage is not very good, but she does do a lot of damage over time, which is going to make it difficult for enemies to try and stay in the zone, because if they get hit by 2 or even 3 shots, for a lot of brawlers, that's all it takes for them to guarantee die. As for Knockout, I'm going with S tier. Okay, it might be kind of tough to charge Willow's super early on in Knockout, but with her super charge, she is a great knockout brawler. Assassins won't be able to get near her because if they jump near her, then she can just super on them and mind control them, and that's going to be the end for them. And once the smoke starts pushing the 2 teams together, her super can make them walk into the smoke, which is ridiculously strong, and her attack and super will be much easier to land, okay? With all that said, her attacks do take a while to deal damage, and that's going to be her biggest problem for Knockout, but her first gadget can hit insanely hard, and that does make up for that issue, I think. As for Solo Showdown, I don't think she's gonna be very good. We're gonna go with D tier here, okay? She can easily break boxes very well, and that's good, but in a 1v1 situation, she's awful. She's really bad because she can't burst anybody down until she has their super charged. And even then, in Showdown, if she attacks somebody with her super and she's controlling them, then she is gonna be standing there doing absolutely nothing and is a very easy target for somebody to try and take her out. She's not completely unviable, so I am going to leave her in the D tier, but she's not very good. As for Duo Showdown, I think that things will be much better, even with just one teammate by her side. So I'm gonna go with the A tier here. Not only will she be able to have enemies, teammates nearby to attack with a controlled brawler, but she'll have teammates to protect her while she uses her super and to help her defeat whichever brawler she's controlling. On top of that, since her attack can hit multiple targets at once, she's automatically better in duos than solo. Overall, I think that she's gonna be kind of balanced, kind of. She's weak enough in enough areas that the fact that her super is just ridiculously overpowered it kind of makes sense. I do plan on unlocking her and maxing her out as fast as I possibly can and doing a video where I cover how strong I actually think she is so that you guys know if it's worth unlocking and upgrading. So subscribe for that, and for right now, let's hear all of her voice lines and we'll see you guys in the next video.
Soul Seeker! Find a foe! Brain Bringer! You won't live to regret this! The swamp is calling my name. I will make you beg for mercy. My minions will find you. Back to the bog. No! You are playing with poison! That's close enough! Slimy snails and lizard tails! You had your fun? Now it's my time. Nothing Little Mud couldn't fix. This is fun! Don't call me cute. Hope I gave you the creeps. I'm the queen of mean. Your pain? My pleasure. I feast on fools. Another dream crushed. Surrounded by fools. Cool, cruel, and ready to rule. Bad to the bone and ready for my throne. If you're not winning, you're not me. I love winning and watching people cry. Kneel before your queen. I smell suffering, and I like it. Are those screams of pain that I hear? Hearing people's fears is music to my ears. In the creepy love tunnel, only I can hear you scream. My swampy delights are gonna give you the frights. Please, tell me your life story. I'll add the ending. I'm not your bog standard villain. Your creeps are my peeps. Pain dealer, soul stealer. Romance? Not a chance. You are mine now. Dance, my puppet, dance. You're just a tool, you weak-minded fool. Embrace the darkness.